Welcome back to Casey Cares, Kansas City's window on the nonprofit community and the people they serve. I'm Ruth Bombigas, and we are back here at the Plaza Library for our monthly show here with Bobby Keys.
Hello, I'm Bobby Keys.
Busy library today.
Yeah, and it seems like it's not the quiet and old style, antiquated type of library that people, I guess, envision, but it's got some hustle. It's got some bustle. There's kids. There's a kids section. You've got computers. You've got this very kind of swanky, kind of loungy area over in the corner.
It's a cool place to be.
And
it's a cool place
a cafe
to be.
too.
And I love the fact we're down here. It's Black History Month, but who could not celebrate our Chiefs? And they have a cutout of Andy Reid over there holding the world champion trophy for people to do selfies. And our friend April Roy here at the library said that's probably been in more photos across Kansas City than she ever thought.
We need to get a Patrick Mahomes one.
Ooh.
Yeah, people just
reading a book.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. He's read a big playbook. Do want to give a shout out to the library that hosts us every month. We love being here. They're doing all kinds of programming down here during Black History Month. Go to their website, kclibrary.org. You can check whatever branch that you want to be at. And for our nonprofits, by the way, every week they have a program called Nonprofit and Grant Help at various libraries throughout the city. So nonprofits, it is a free resource that can help you find out just about anything, especially that important grant writing. We got to find a time to get there. But we don't want to take away any more time from our next guest, who has been a regular guest, but she's wearing a new hat these days. And it's Cheptoo Kositany Buckner. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
You are president and founder
of Jazz Sister Cities,
which is such a cool idea.
Yeah. And so people who don't know what Jazz Sister Cities is, can you explain?
Oh, absolutely. Jazz Sister Cities is an organization that really is using jazz to connect cultures and different communities. You can see that, as I travel throughout the world, I realized that jazz is really a world's language. And if we're going to communicate with each other, jazz has to be that tool to be able to do that. So we founded the organization, and we have connected over 5 cities, over 10 programs, and we've done over 5 in the last 2 years, over 5 exchange for artists. We've taken artists to Nairobi, Kenya. Oh, wow. We've exchanged between Poland and Nairobi, between Poland and Ukraine, Poland and Kansas City, in terms of really connecting cultures and artists together.
That's awesome. And as I'm going to have to brag, first chair jazz trumpet player here.
Another secret he's letting out.
I find this pretty cool. No.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I love jazz. So that's how I used to practice when I was playing trumpet. I would Chuck Mangione and I would be Satchmo. I would play along but I don't think a lot of people realized how worldwide and how spread it is, how worldwide spread jazz is. You were talking about you going to Poland and Ukraine and Kenya.
Absolutely.
Like, I think most people would be like, wait a second.
It's American.
There's jazz and...
I think to me, jazz is the most important import that America has.
Why?
Because I think in a lot of ways what jazz did is that jazz started in the world through the State Jazz Ambassador Program during the Cold War. And it was something that the State Department felt that if they send jazz artists all over the world, they would begin to understand America a little bit better and connect to America a little bit better. So Dave Brubeck, Louis Armstrong, Dave Brubeck actually was one of the first jazz ambassadors that was sent by the State Department. And the first city that he played was Szczecin, Poland. And Szczecin, Poland is the first city to become a member of Jazz Sister Cities. And so so jazz is a big product, a big import from the US to Europe and all over the world as part of a cultural exchange. And when you go to Europe, jazz is very, very popular. You see a lot of American artists performing in Europe. A lot of our Kansas City musicians left Kansas City to go and perform in Europe because of the popularity of jazz in Europe.
We actually have a local artist who I went to high school with. He goes by Vinx. And he relocated and lives in France now, and
Yeah, I was gonna
he's
say.
always posting all over Europe. I got to get you connected with him.
Please,
He'd
I
be
would
great.
love to
We'd like to get him back here for something, but it's been interesting to watch how robust his career has been there,
Yeah.
as opposed to here. I mean, is it more open? Is the world more open sometimes to jazz artists or that cross section of people?
I think
around that
I think it's
art
very
form?
open. If you look at it, again, during the civil rights movement, a lot of artists moved to Paris
Yes.
because it was more
say that.
accessible to them and open to them. So there's a rich legacy of African American culture and music in Paris and spread throughout Europe. I think again, the big event that we're working on right now, Searching for Charlie Parker, is really the idea of it is to bring the attention back to Kansas City, while especially on the year of the centennial of the KC, what we could, our legend from Kansas City. I know New York claims him too, but he's ours too.
He's ours.
So the Searching for Charlie Parker initiative is a partnership with Jazz Sister Cities and a number of artists here in Kansas City, specifically Logan Richardson. Logan Richardson is one of the best alto saxophonists in the world right now. And Bobby Watson, of course, is up there as well. But this idea of Searching for Charlie Parker to do an international global performances here and all over the world, but the idea is to promote Kansas City as a jazz incubator, as a place where jazz is actually born and that there's live music going on and new musicians being built today every day. People know about the history of Kansas City jazz, and we need to continue to preserve that, and they'll tell that story, but we need to tell people what is going on, that this is really a city that is about jazz and live jazz, and it's going on today like it did 100 years ago.
That's the one thing that's always frustrated me is that, to me, what has always been explained, what I've always known about history, the history of Kansas City and the jazz, is that Kansas City is like the mecca of jazz, right? So, I don't think the promotion of it, it's just, until like recently, but it seems like there's always been this lack of love for that particular piece of history. It's like, for me as a musician, I was like, what? Nobody understands how big that is. Like, we are at Kansas City, and I say that to people. I say, we're the mecca of jazz. And they're like, Kansas City? Like, yeah, we have all this rich history, and getting with some of the people that have had hits on the radio as well, like Del Rice and Max Groove and those guys and those
Pat
cats.
Metheny.
Yeah.
We have all the artists coming all over. I mean, Logan Richardson and Bobby Watson. I mean, we have very, very talented musicians in Kansas City. And I think what Jazz Sister Cities is also trying to do is find an avenue and a platform for them to also connect overseas and connect with artists coming globally. And so with the Searching for Charlie Parker tonight at the Ship, we are launching our Searching for Charlie Parker Volume 1, Poland meets Charlie Parker. We have over 5 artists from Poland. We have Blues People, which is Logan Richardson's band, and Bobby Watson. The way we package the program is to really begin to show how jazz really connect with cultures, and we are using the spirit of Charlie Parker to package the music. So in the first set, the Polish artists will be performing their set. We're calling it Music is Your Own Experience. And what Charlie Parker said all the time is what you play is what you've experienced. And so we're using that. So the Polish will be playing their jazz music based on their experience, but also has got influence of American jazz. Then Bobby will be, his set is called Sanctified Rhythms, because he's going to play the real sound of Charlie Parker and how Charlie Parker really sounded. But that idea of Charlie Parker, really, his rhythms was sanctified because he changed the course of jazz to 100 years ago, still changing today. And then finally, and then Logan Richardson Blues People will be, their set is called No Boundaries to Art. That's what Charlie Parker always said. There were no boundaries to art, and he was always trying to push those boundaries, and he did, and indeed did push those boundaries. And again, we're still, nobody today has really, to me, managed to be a Charlie Parker
Yeah.
in the arts world in terms of bebop and swing and what he created. That is still today something that I think everybody is still aspiring to be like him.
He was an artist too. Like didn't he paint? So I was watching a documentary on Basquiat, and it was something that I loved because it was it kind of showed the history of the artists and like traditional artists, painters. And they would go and they'd jump in these bands and they would play with the like underground clubs, and Charlie Parker and all these jazz musicians would come through, but they were all intermingling. Like they just had their specialty. Like they were great at art, but they were even better at music.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Basquiat, like he played. He wasn't very good at music. But he ended up being, he could play a little bit.
Yeah.
But they formed these bands, and it was this cross. Everybody was in all these different types of art and all these underground clubs and cool things going on. And you had mentioned that. What'd you say? Charlie Parker's the epitome of art, or yeah. I mean, that's just. I like how you said art because it's all encompassing, and it's just this creativity and how we choose to let our creativity out.
And jazz is art. It's not entertainment.
Oh gosh.
I mean,
it's complex.
It's really art. It's not entertainment. And I like to really stress that one of the writers, Ted Gioia, is a great music writer. One of the things he said was, "What is the difference between Miley Cyrus and Miles Davis?" Miley Cyrus is entertainment. Miles Davis is art.
That's
and
right.
we've got to look at jazz as it is an art form.
Yeah.
And it's very important to maintain it that way.
What else do we have to look forward to in this year of searching for Charlie Parker?
Oh, searching for Charlie Parker. This is our first volume. We are finalizing plans right now, but you'll be hearing more about different shows that we'll be doing in Kansas City and internationally. We will be in Szczecin in March. We are going to probably be in Kenya in May for International Jazz Day. We are busy right now booking some other events in New York, and then really looking at also having a finale event towards close to his birthday. And Kansas City has got Kansas City, I want to give a shout out to KC Jazz Alive and all the organizations in Kansas City that have worked very hard over the years to maintain the celebration of Charlie Parker, and they will be doing a lot of things possibly close to his birthday, and we will continue to partner with them. But this Searching for Charlie Parker was really an artist initiative, sort of a collective and an ensemble that is really uplifting Kansas City artists and also uplifting Kansas City.
Where can people go to find out the latest on what you'll be doing and offering?
They go to our Jazz Sister Cities Facebook page, as well as our website, which is jazzsistercities.org. And also, we are a non-for-profit organization. We're looking for support to really take this initiative to another level and really begin to walk the walk when we say we are a jazz city.
This is a young organization.
Very young. It was founded 2 years ago.
How do you pull all this together?
I'm a one-woman show. I think really it's teamwork. The people that are part of Jazz Sister Cities and collaborators, we all work together and use our talents to really make this work. We believe in this initiative because we see what we've done with it. Part of when we take artists to other communities, for example, when we took Polish artists and American artists to Nairobi, Kenya for International Day, one of the things we always make sure that they are able to provide some free clinics to youth in those cities. And so in Kenya, they have a program called Ghetto Classics. And this program is in a program for the kids in one of the worst slums in Nairobi, Kenya. This is a place, no infrastructure, no flowing water, sewage all over, but they have this program of jazz, and you go into this slum and you're smelling stuff and it's horrible, but then you get into this little arena that is there, and there are these kids, clothes not dirty, raggedy, but they are playing jazz, shiny saxophones, trumpets, beautiful voices. And so that to me is so powerful in terms of it energizes me and the team to say, yes, we can do more. And so some of the artists got so excited about that project in giving back that they are now going back in June alone 3 weeks, spending their own money to be able to spend time with these youth, to give them more talent, to help them come out of that poverty. And so, to me, the importance of jazz, yes, it's an art form. Yes, it's a performance. Yes, it's live music. But it can also be life-changing. When you look at youth, you can do that. You look at the civil rights movement, jazz was important for it. South Africa, jazz was a crying, music that they did. The solidarity movement during the Cold War in Poland, jazz was a big part of it. So jazz is really, really a very powerful tool.
Yeah, and just a culture. As well. I think back to a lot of the documentaries and things I've seen where it was kind of just a place to go and release, get away from everything.
Absolutely.
And I love, that it is an art form. It's also so educational, and it stimulates the mind, the complexity of the rhythms and the arrangements.
The improvisation.
I'll get all geeky. I'm going to start talking about
the geeky part. I like the geeky part because I always say, there's a lot businesses can learn from jazz because, jazz is a team effort. Everybody can be a leader at any time. Yeah. You've got to be agile and improvise, and and it is just there's something, and I hope somebody can think about this. Maybe some workshops from jazz artists performing to business leaders to really begin, or a business group to really begin to and show what are you doing, why are you doing that. It can begin to people to think about this is really a team effort. This is a collaboration, and that's what jazz is. It's really a team effort.
Maybe you should go to Congress.
Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking, make jazz Congress.
Well, yeah.
Because you bring those disparate parts.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can be a leader, and then hopefully you're working towards something that's unifying as opposed to, okay, enough of the political. But I was just listening to both of you talk about, we always throw the catchphrase music as a universal language, but it seems to kind of level the playing field, yet pull everybody in.
It's such a spiritual thing because it just that is something that I feel that brings everybody together. They've always said, "Oh, well, visual creatures." We are, but the first thing that we hear, the first sense is our hearing, right? We hear the rhythm of the heartbeat of the mother. So that rhythm is in us from such an early.
But at the same time, there's the visual in terms of jazz. When you watch a musician, it's such a freeing thing, and it kind of, I think, sometimes sends the message to the, quote, audience of, wow, I wish I could be that free in what I, wanted to express. So everything you've got 5 cities so far. Yes. What's the game plan?
The game plan right now is to really focus on the Searching for Charlie Parker initiative to really promote that. As cities can come on board, people can join us as we go along on the train, but we really want to put the highlight on Kansas City and Charlie Parker and Kansas City artists.
Well, check it out, jazzsistercities.org. Cheptoo, thank you so much. And thank you for listening to Casey Cares. We're Kansas City's nonprofit digital resource, and we're produced by Charitable Communications, a 501c3 nonprofit. We're proudly sponsored by the Ewing Marion Kauffman Foundation. If you like what you hear and sharing all the stuff about great nonprofits, check us out at caseycaresonline.org. And if you want to be a guest, caseycaresonline.org. We're always looking for nonprofits and nonprofit experts. You can spread the love on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Casey Cares Online. Thank you for listening to Casey Cares on ESPN 1510 AM and 94.5 FM.